Update 91 has released in Ghost Simulator, and with it came a single NPC and a lot of other smaller changes. And so, continuing the trend I started last update, I am going to go over the update and review it, and then give my rating of the update on a scale of 1 to 10. So really quickly, we'll hop into the rating. Now, the first thing included in this update is Ghost Hunter Gramps, which is a new NPC that was added in conjunction with Bran, which was last update. And basically it serves as a new addition to lore, and its questline is basically the equivalent of Yuwu or Ghost Hunter Grans, except with bosses instead of gum or races. And it serves as another overarching questline that will just follow you through the whole game for any newer players that they can just work on, and every once in a while they'll finish a new quest and be able to move on slightly further in it. And because of that, it's really not too important of a quest in terms of grinding out for us endgame players, but anyone starting out can really just, once they get to it, start into it and start working through it as they progress through the game. In terms of content, this NPC does not provide much, especially for endgame players, since it isn't really something to grind through, and the rewards in it are very minimal at best, since it is mainly just event bait, a pet, and a board. But the lore it provides in conjunction with Old Granny is actually pretty nice for anyone that is following the lore. Although it isn't significant to the actual lore, it does provide some nice backstory and just a little cool, fun little quest line in between lore updates. Now, that was it for the content in this update, but the update also provided a lot of other small changes, including the refactoring of quest lines, including Jesse and Finsley in the main hub, and also updating textures for ghosts so that they no longer glitch when you're looking at them like they used to. These changes, although very small, are actually really significant. For instance, when starting Jesse's questline, it took me, with all my game passes and gum, over 45 minutes to complete their questline, and for newer players, that would probably be well over an hour. But since refactoring, hopefully if it takes only 30 minutes, it makes it that much quicker for new players to progress into the Ghost world and into Backdoor, which just makes it a lot easier for them to play the game. On top of that, it'll also make Rebirth slightly faster for anyone interested in that. And then making the Ghosts models actually work properly is also a really nice change, since it'll just make the game look cleaner, and it will hopefully help with the ghosts disappearing problem that we've been experiencing in Ghost Simulator. Now, one of the next updates that was just quality of life one, are the increase in chances of getting stuff from your first, second, and third place loot bags. All the boards from that increased from 100% to 200% increase, so it's somewhere between doubled and tripled all the chances for each board inside these crates. This will actually combat one of the problems that I had with these loot bags, with them not providing enough value for people to actually incentivize getting them. Since before it was quite a rare chance at getting something, and the gem amounts were really that enough to warrant grinding for them. But now with the increases in chances of getting these items, it'll make it a little bit more rewarding to be getting these in the first place, since you might actually be able to get something good from them. Along with all these other updates, there's also a lot of other bug fixes, including some spelling mistakes and some dialogues being fixed, Coven's character being updated behind the UFO, and also some of the board's trails being fixed that were recently in the limited shop. Now it's time to get into the rating part of this video. Gramps, seeing as that's the biggest thing, it's a really nice questline for newer people just to be able to passively get, but for older players like me, obviously it's going to be a lot harder to get through it, since it's going to take basically the same amount of time as a newer player, but we don't have as much to intermix it with. Because of that, I'm going to rate it higher than I normally would, since I wouldn't think of it as worthwhile as I'm rating it, just because of my viewpoint being of that of an older player and having to do a little bit more work for it. Last thing that I do like about this update was all the little fixes in the game, including the ghosts and also the quest lines being patched, and all the other small bug fixes and changes in the game. Having those changes in the game is really nice, and I really like that. It's just going to help just make it look better and feel a lot better when playing the game. It's probably going to be overlooked by many players. Now, in terms of what I'm rating this update on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is being the worst update possible, and 10 being the best update imaginable, and 5 being around a standard update. That's pretty good, but also has a few problems. I'm going to rate this update out around a 6 out of 10 on the update. Obviously, there wasn't really too much content for older players like me, so that's usually something that is nice to see. Last update we had a gum hotkey. Despite that, it also did a lot of small changes to the game, which I really like to see, small bug fixes in inside games, since it really makes it much easier to follow along and a lot less annoying for anyone playing the game versus just straight content, which can get a little bit overwhelming and just frustrating if you continue getting new content without any annoying stuff being patched. So with that being said, that has been my update review. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this update so much as me. As you can see, I finally did get Grand done, and I probably will take a lot longer to get Gramps done.